There's another huge welterweight fight taking place, and the talent that's in this fight is on par with what we want to see at the top of the class. Let's talk about the return of Jaron Boots Ennis against Romain Villa. As the countdown begins toward Crawford versus Spence, Spence versus Crawford for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world, an interim appetizer is coming up this Saturday, July 8th, when Jaron Boots Ennis takes on Romain Villa for a scheduled 12-round welterweight fight. These two men have been right there as contenders, although Ennis has been ranked higher than Romain. Romain had a fight recently that put him in a different stratosphere. But let me tell you, the stratosphere gets no higher than when you enter a bout with Boots Ennis, the man who has been projected as the future of the welterweights. And it should be exciting because both fighters bring something to the fight that people like to see, and that is power. But it's not just power. It's power from different places, from different men. So as we prepare for this fight, we're looking at Romain, who comes in and he has shown, though he's 30 years old, he's 5'7" with a 70-inch reach, he has shown a propensity to be aggressive. He has shown that he wants it. He has shown that even though he may be limited in certain aspects of skills, his record of 26-1 with 24 KOs was none the best on display when he faced Rashidi Ellis in January of this year. He ended up with a majority decision victory over Ellis, who initially was totally outboxing Villa. And we could see Villa's shortcomings in that fight because he was having difficulty dealing with Ellis's speed. He handled the power fine, but as Ellis began to fade late in the fight, Villa came on, and that's where he had an advantage. Now, it's going to be different when he gets in there with whom he's facing this coming Saturday. And there's just no easy way to say it. Jaron Boots Ennis is the future. He is the future knocking on the door, about to kick the door in. This young man, when I first laid eyes on him a few years ago, the first thing I said about him is, that kid has Roy Jones-like power. He has Roy Jones-like speed. He has Roy Jones-like talent. And Ennis, who comes in now with a record of 30-0 and 27 knockouts, has displayed something that is hard to nail down. He's 26 years of age. He stands 5'10" with a 74-inch reach, and he can fight ambidextrously. He can fight from the orthodox side or the southpaw side, and he has power from both sides. The one thing that we don't know about Ennis is how sturdy is his chin, because most of the opponents that have battled against him haven't had a chance to test it. His last fight against Karen Chuck, I'll cut the name short because I don't want to murder the name, was a unanimous decision, and Chuck was the type of fighter who fought unorthodox, very defensive, and didn't open himself up to anything that Ennis could take advantage of. You're going to have opponents like that the longer you fight and the more opportunities that you give them. So when we're looking at Villa, what he brings to this table is something that is not spread throughout boxing anymore, but he happens to be an enduring and tenacious fighter who also happens to be hard-hitting. If you give this man an opportunity to land on you, he can hurt you. He dropped Rashidi a couple of times late in their fight, and Rashidi kind of lost focus. I don't think that Rashidi was the lesser fighter in that fight, but I don't think after his long layoff and his inactivity, he was prepared for this particular type of fight. And I'm certain that he can go back to the gym and correct the mistakes he made against Villa. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Villa was able to capitalize on the moment. And when he landed on Ellis, he hurt him. He dropped him. He had him shook. And he can hurt other fighters. When you have the type of knockouts that he's enjoying in his record currently, that's not incompetence, that's capability. But Ennis, again, proves to be a different sort. This young man can really put a person in jeopardy when he catches him with that undetectable speed, and the fact that he's so fast and unorthodox himself that sometimes you may not see where the punches are coming from. And being an ambidextrous, powerful puncher, it can make you, like Karen did in his last fight back in January of this year, go into a shell. You may not want to open yourself up to what's coming because you can't see it. It's blinding, it's mesmerizing. And the fact that he can switch to a position that you're not comfortable against. Some fighters don't have a problem with southpaws. Okay, well, Jaron can fight orthodox, and he can hurt you, and he can put you out. He can turn you around, catch you from an angle that you don't see, land a shot, whether it's a devastating uppercut, hook, straight down the middle, or something that just comes from a place undetected. This is what's special about the man. So when this fight happens, I expect Villa, who's going to bring the machismo. He's a tough guy, but tough guys will always find that there's a tougher guy. And it's not about being tough against Jaron Boots Ennis. You have to be talented and skilled. And this Colombian may not be able to match skill levels and his toughness to what Jaron Boots Ennis brings in this particular fight, the talent that is off the charts. But nonetheless, he'll be dangerous for as long as he's able to last, because he can punch. And that's the thing that Ennis should never sleep on. And as I said before, we haven't seen his chin tested. So I expect him to have full radar and be ready to receive whatever Romain brings to this fight. At the end of the day, Jaron Boots Ennis is a champion in waiting. As soon as things get sorted out between Spence and Crawford, we will probably see this man in a title shot very soon after that. Whether the belts are vacated or just stripped or whatever happens, this will be one of the first men who will be in line for an opportunity. And I see the coronation very soon. That's what I think. I see Jaron Boots Ennis as a future champion, and Romain will not get in the way of that. This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know if you're gonna tune in for this fight this coming Saturday. It'll be broadcast live on Showtime. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.